Nerd news! What's been going on in the world of nerd, Jack?
Well, I know that you guys are huge video game fans, both of you.
I mean,
I'm not,
am,
but I think I know what you're going to talk about, so
Yeah.
I'm going to count
So
that.
I know for a fact that you've both played the Silent Hill, the PT demo.
Yeah.
Yes.
So after I don't know how much our fans know about the world of Hideo Kojima, but he got fired from Konami.
Was this before or after Metal Gear Solid 5 was completed?
It was happening during Metal Gear Solid 5. Kojima isn't referenced in some of it, and it's all very complicated. And there's a lot of backstory to it. Yeah, no, it's like crazy how much it's been going on for a while. Like they didn't announce he'd been fired for ages. There were loads of hints that he had been. They were like, "No, we're keeping him on," and then he got fired. So
Why
that's
did he
all
get fired?
mental. No idea.
Okay.
Konami are it's an odd thing. Because if you look at how well PT did, considering it's a demo, it was like huge numbers of people played it and loved it and were so excited about there being a new Silent Hill.
Yeah.
And there were also rumours of Guillermo del Toro being involved in the story of Silent Hill. Is that right?
He was involved. He was involved in the story of it. They had Norman Reedus as voicing the main character.
Of course.
So that got canned. Everyone was very upset, and then Sony came along, and I don't know if they're partnered in it or something, but they've helped him set up a new company called Kojima Studios, I think, or Kojima Productions.
Okay.
Nice.
And then basically the other day he tweeted out a picture of him and Norman Reedus sitting together, and it's all very hinting at they're going to be doing something together. Guillermo del Toro and him they did a conference at DICE today. As we're speaking, they might
So
be
it's
on stage,
basically all...
It's that.
It's all basically pointing towards the fact that the project might come back to life.
Yes, possibly under a different name, because I'm sure I don't think it will be Silent Hill, because Konami own the rights to that. But a very similar project might happen.
I think it could work really well, as something a little bit different anyway.
Oh yeah, it was so different, that demo, to any of the other Silent Hill things, really.
Yeah.
It doesn't need that branding to work.
What do you think, Liam?
I agree with what Jack said.
Nice. Good save, Liam.
No, I was going to make the point that PT didn't feel like a Silent Hill game, but you said that, so I can't make that point. Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like they were trying something new, and Konami were like, we want another Silent Hill.
But that wasn't why they got rid of him, was it? Or do we not know?
No.
We don't know. You're not listening.
we don't know the reason.
Okay. So basically, to wrap that story up, you're excited at the possibility of them doing another Silent Hill game, even though you don't like those sort of games?
Yeah, I won't play it, but I'm fascinated to see it.
Right.
Actually,
I'm
agree.
terrified of scary games, but I like watching people play scary. I'll quite happily sit and watch someone else play it. I know, I'd love to be able to play those sort of games, but I freeze up and I panic.
So Jack, serious question right now. If one of our dear sweet listeners suggests that me and you in a future episode play a scary game, how are you going to handle that?
What I would do is I would say, hey Liam, for this episode, should I come down for a weekend and we'll just marathon the game together? Because I won't get far by myself and it will suck.
Okay, so yeah, if any listeners, I don't want to, give you ideas, but something to bear in mind perhaps when thinking of things to suggest.
I'll happily do a scary game. I'll just need to adjust what I do.
You just need to hold somebody's hand while you play.
Yeah, that's what it is, basically. I need Liam. I need to cower behind Liam while he plays it.
Heroically.
Yeah, oh yeah. Am I being
course.
heroic or are you?
Both.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, you mentioned Norman Reedus, and that leads us very nicely onto a topic that I know Kat is almost wetting herself to talk about, and that is the return of The Walking Dead.
Yay!
Woo! Don't do any spoilers.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jack's a bit behind, so no spoilers, but the second half of Season 6 is back, came back on Valentine's Day, so...
Romance.
Topical for this episode as well, for us to be discussing it. What did you think?
Well, as you know, I really enjoyed it, and the reason that I really enjoyed it, and don't worry, Jack, this isn't a spoiler, is that it drew pretty heavily from the comic book, and that is usually when the show is at its best, when it's kind of it doesn't follow the exact same narrative as the comics, but it takes elements of them and kind of makes them different enough that if you have read the comics and watched the show, you don't know exactly when things are going to happen that happen in the comics, and they might happen differently. Would you agree with that, Liam?
Yeah, I mean, I've been a bit sniffy towards the show in the past. Like, it was never a show that I felt particularly compelled to watch weekly. I would have always been quite happy to wait for the season to end and then just binge watch it over a weekend or something. But that was never an option with Kat.
No.
She was very much a lot more into it than I was until this season. And I have to be honest, it's really turned me around. Season 6, I think so far that they've just keep consistently knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
There's been maybe 1 or 2 not brilliant episodes, but I wouldn't say there's been a single bad episode in the whole season so far.
Don't there, a couple of sort of bad episodes of series?
Oh, in my opinion, it's more the majority were pretty average, and every now and again you get 1 or 2 good episodes. But I'd say this season flips that, and the majority is really good, and you get 1 or 2 average.
Yeah, I think it's because previously The Walking Dead it always seemed to have the same sort of pacing, where it would start really slow, and then a thing would happen, and then it would slow down again, and it just kind of got too formulaic. Whereas now, like, with this season, I think it's almost consistently been like shit's going down every episode.
Oh yeah, well,
almost every
again,
episode.
this isn't a spoiler, but what they've done, which is quite smart about this season as well, is so far we've only seen the majority of the season take place over the course of 2 days within the Walking Dead universe.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's given them a lot of licensing to, 1, keep the tension at quite a high level, but 2, also dig into different characters a little bit deeper than they normally would with such a huge cast. It allows more time for smaller characters to get their moments as well.
Yeah, and they've kind of like separated the cast a bit, haven't they? Where like when you've got like a big ensemble cast, you don't get to know the characters as well. Whereas they've kind of sort of like divided the group a little bit so that like characters that you don't know as much about, or you don't know the dynamics of them with other characters, you've kind of got to discover and find out more about them in this season.
Yeah, what the sort of premiere episode that aired on Sunday did quite nicely was it wrapped up the storyline that we've had throughout the first half of the season. So now I'm also really excited to see where they go next.
Yeah, especially if they are going to continue to draw upon the comic more heavily than they had done previously.
Exactly, and it gives me a lot of hope because, again, no spoilers, there's a character in the comics that they've already announced they're introducing to the show, but there is an event from the comics that I wanted to see them do before that character comes about, and in this episode we get to see them do that. So now it feels like they're primed and ready for this character to be introduced, so I am giddy with excitement.
Giddy.
You sound it, mate. You sound like you're just...
Well, you know what my voice is like. We've discussed this before.
Trust me, Jack, he's giddy with excitement about it.